next, we have Hikaru Nakamura taking on Shu Yi, and the games are beginning. As soon as I say that, the game gets underway. Hikaru Nakamura is the white pieces against Shu Yi, and I'm not sure if Shu Yi is well known to many people who are watching. He's a very strong Chinese grandmaster. He peaked around 25-50 in classical chess a few years back. During the pandemic, hasn't been able to play so much. Rating has gone down a little bit, but unclear, if he's on his way up still. He's a very strong player nonetheless, and he is in his early 20s. But right now, on move 4, he makes the move b6, opting for a fianchetto setup against Hikaru's typical b3 ideas. So Hikaru's fianchettoed both of his bishops. Shu Yi brings a bishop to d6.
Do I want to trade or not is a big question mark. I think I will trade. I'll probably go d4, e3, try to keep this very, very stable here in the center, maybe knight c3 at some point. Not a super exciting opening thus far, but should be playable. So we're playing Zhuji 2620. He's a player from China, so that makes sense. I can play knight e5 here. It's a move. It's an interesting one at that. I think I'm going to go for it. I don't know if it's a good move, but it looks interesting. It looks like an interesting way to play the position. I can always play e3 to consolidate, so why not? Why not? When in doubt, why not play knight e5? Now, the funny thing is, I think I've had this against I think Ding Loren in our speed chess championship match or something very similar to this. So this isn't something that is a complete surprise probably for my opponent. Okay, I'll take the mouse off the board, of course. Don't want to have any mishaps. See what he's going to do here. Okay, he's thinking for a while. Huh. Let's see. Really thinking here. Interesting. Maybe he's not so sure about the position. I mean, it's pretty standard so far, I guess. At least that's what I would say. But we'll see. Okay, he's thinking for a long time. Kind of surprised here.
You're not going to be able to kick this knight out of e4 with a pawn. And so then this knight hops in here, and black can play f6 to get rid of this knight on e5. But Hikaru is very, very well versed in these positions. He's played so many games of online chess in the last few years, so he has a wealth of experience. And now he also has a large lead on the clock. So what else can black consider here? So rook e8, one idea. Queen e7. Similarly, goes to put pressure on this knight on e5. You can think about c5, but I don't like the look of it. Knight takes d7, and your position could fall apart very quickly there. In fact, you might just lose a pawn if you play c5. And I'll just show that quickly. Rook e8 was played. But had he chosen to move c5 instead of rook e8, knight takes d7. If you take with the queen on d7, after pawn takes c5, there's bishop takes f6. You've taken your g-pawn, that's terrible. If you take on d7 with your knight, after dc5, the pawn on d5 just hangs. So that's why c5 not available to black. Instead, rook e8, knight takes d7, not f4, which I'd mentioned. Instead, knight takes d7, queen takes d7, and knight c3. So Hikaru, he's just developing his pieces. Nothing extraordinary has happened, but Shu Yi decides, I'm going to bring my knight to e4 anyway. Let's trade off some pieces. d5, not really a target. The bishop defends that. This rook could think about lifting, but don't go too soon because you might walk into a pin.
So if I trade and play like queen c2, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go queen c2, maybe rook d1, maybe rook c1 at some point, and just keep the flow of the game going here. Probably he'll play bishop d5 at some point is my guess, although I'm really not sure. Thing is, if he ever goes bishop d5, I go e3. I should be pretty happy with what's going on here. So let's move the mouse off the board again. As always, just keep everything very simple. I mean, I also have ideas like a4 and bishop a3 too, maybe at some point. But again, nothing too insane thus far. So bishop d5 is expected. Now I can play e3. I can also move the rook. The question is, do I really go a4, bishop a3 at all? That's really the big question mark here. Now my instinct is that probably I do not. So the question is, do I play e3 or not? I think it's a little bit questionable whether I want to do it right away. I can also play rook d1. Rook c1 is also a move. I'm not so thrilled by it. I think I'm going to go e3 to start. I'm going to play e3 to start to consolidate the center. And now maybe I go rook to fd1, maybe bishop c4 at some point. It's not a wonderful situation here. I'm not thrilled by this. I will say that. I don't like my opening so far. But it's chess. It is chess and anything can happen. That is the moral of the story. So he plays h5, which I kind of expected. I think, however, after h5, I'm going to go queen e2, target this pawn. If queen f5, I have f3 or f4 maybe. I maybe have h4 at some point. I'm not super happy with this. My bishops are not very good objectively either, so it's not the greatest situation ever. But if I go f3 at some point, and I'm able to play f3 and rook e1, it's probably kind of okay. So let's see what he's going to do here. I mean, g6 is the obvious move. Queen f5 is another move. Queen g4 maybe is also a move, although it looks a little bit weird. But we'll see. We shall see.
Much easier, I would say, for black to play. Queen f5, rook e6, h4, all these ideas come to mind. And for white, I got nothing for you. I really don't have anything. At some point, you may want to trade the dark square bishops because that could allow you to put pressure on the c file, but you would have to play a4. If you ever play a4, you drop your b3 pawn. So you're not even going to be able to do that. So queen f5. Now it's on Hikaru. The onus is on him to prove that he's not just going to face a vicious attack. He knows that playing f3 will lead him in a worse position. So Shu Yi doing everything right thus far and playing great chess. Just, every move has purpose. And I have to say once more, I really like that move, bishop d5. And now after e takes f3, which isn't forced. You don't have to take en passant. I think the position is just better for black if you do. Black can consider playing on this side of the board as well. Why not? Look at these bishops. These are great pieces. And these ones, you know how we say bad bishops defend good pawns? Yeah, it defends a good pawn. It also doesn't defend. It attacks a great pawn that black has on e4. This pawn e4 is completely restricting white's pieces. So I can see the argument for a5, a4. Makes very clear sense. Do not go pushing this pawn to h4. First of all, white can take it, but just g4, kicking that queen back if that pawn goes to h4. No point in doing that. So will he take? That's the big question. And I talked about this in the game between Jose Martinez and Alexander Grishuk. Critical moments. When do you know that they happen? This is, for the second time today in this commentary, has been an en passant. Because if you don't do en passant right now, you never are allowed to do it. So that is what is being considered right now. Taking on f3 or not. And I like the look of it. I like the look of not doing it. What that means is that black is better regardless. And he does, in fact, take on f3. I like the clarity that comes with this decision. Because you can just take this bishop on f3, control the e4 square. You still have ideas with h4 opening this bishop up. And yeah, I don't like this bishop on b2. It's just not a good piece. And it may not be that terrible for white. I'm not saying that white is lost. By no means am I making that claim. But it just isn't an easy position for white to play. And black's moves seem much more straightforward.
Yeah, okay, plays h4. Very logical kind of move in a way. However, I thought e4 gave me, I thought there was something here initially. I can actually take h4 maybe, although, I mean, do I really want to do that? Probably not. I can also go g4, bishop f3, queen f3. Also, not the end of the world. Probably not ideal, but I also have queen b5 here too. Queen b5, c6, bishop d5. But that doesn't do anything. Now, if I go e4, bishop e4, bishop h5. Wait, did he blunder? Wait, e4 takes bishop h5. Wait a second, let me think about this for a second. E4, okay, let's say I play e4, h3. E takes f5, rook takes e2. Bishop takes d5. Or bishop takes e, bishop e2, gh2, king f2. That should be winning. Okay, wait a second. So e4, let's say he plays like queen h3, e5. So he moves the queen anywhere, e5, I'm happy. If he plays bishop e4, bishop h5, bishop d3, rook f5, bishop d3, bishop f7, queen f7, queen d3. I mean, very, very sharp. F5, rook e2, bishop f7, king d8, king f8. I mean, very, very sharp. F7. Queen F7, Queen D3, Queen D5, Rook F5. I mean, that's probably enough to draw. Is it enough for more? Not likely.
It's like a Queen G2, sort of forcing Black to finally make this choice, but that's what we wanted to do anyway. And this would just be an improvement for Black, because after Rook takes F3, there's Queen E4, and there's pressure on this G3 pawn. And yeah, I'm really liking the way this is looking for Shu Yi. And Hikaru, deep in the think tank, most of his time advantage still there, but it's been about cut in half. He was up 4 minutes, I would like to say, and now it's down to 2 and change. And he's going to continue to think, and it's going to just be easier for Black to play. As I have been stating, I don't see a plan. Look at the square control that Black has. E3 is under fire, but Black controls the square in front of it, and that's really important. Whenever there's a backwards pawn, it means that a pawn cannot defend the square in front of that pawn. So if you try to look at the position, E3 is under pressure, and there's no pawn that can go back to D3 to help White push the pawn to E4. So it's just a position here that no clear plans for White. Black already putting pressure. I'm guessing, based on time consumption, that Hikaru is thinking about taking on H4. Whoa, E4. E4, just giving up a pawn here? The evaluation bar did not change. So Black was already about a pawn ahead, if you look at it from that perspective, and now it's going to be a pawn on the board. But E4, bishop takes E4. Maybe there's bishop H5. Okay, that actually changes everything, doesn't it? Bishop H5 going for F7. So Hikaru trying to find a tactical solution here. So bishop E4, bishop H5, and then bishop D3, rook takes F5, rook takes E2. Looks like you get this rook on E2, then you get this rook on F5. Oh my gosh, let's show it. Bishop E4, bishop H5. You move the queen, you lose F7, then you lose an exchange because that comes with a check. Bishop D3, you hit my queen, I hit yours. He played queen G6 instead, but just to go through this variation, after rook F5, that if you play bishop E2, there's bishop F7 check, winning an exchange, but there's rook E2, because if you take this rook, you lose yours, and then Black ends up a pawn ahead. So that was a missed opportunity there for Shu Yi.
And yeah, I think it was a very poor move by my opponent. Yeah, he used not enough time. He probably should have done the Grishuk there, used like 4 minutes, got down to 1 minute, and then taken. I think taking on E4 and he would have been fine. Now I think Black is in trouble, because now I have Queen C4, I have D5, I've got Rook F1. This looks pretty scary to me. Yeah, this was a huge mistake by my opponent. I'm actually shocked that he did this so quickly. He should have used more time. 100%. If he uses more time, finds the right play, it's all different. But now I think there's a very good chance that I win this game. I mean, he's 245. Bad position now. I mean, my pawns are marching. I have Rook F1. This looks very bad for Black. So let's see what he's going to do. Let's see. Plays C5. Okay, but now C5 is a move, but I think I have Queen C4 and Rook F1. Queen C4, Bishop C7, Rook F1, CD4, Rook E7. He has Rook E7, so maybe it's not quite so simple. I can play D5 here maybe, but that doesn't look right. Queen D3 is the safety valve. Queen C4, Bishop C7, Rook F1. I mean, it looks like the right move, but it's not actually winning, which is kind of annoying. Or DC5. No, but I mean, it's a pawn. Rookie. I mean, whatever. Okay, I mean, this has to be good for me. So let's go here, target the pawn. I mean, I'm going to go Rook F1 next move. 100%. Not even a question. It goes Bishop C7, so I go Rook F1. It's going to have to go Rook E7, I believe. I'm going to take. If HG3, I have Rook G3. If BC5, I have Queen H4. It's a pawn. A pawn is a pawn. If it's not enough, so be it. But I mean, it looks, I don't know, it looks good. It looks good objectively. I mean, maybe it's not winning, but the danger at least is gone. I really can't lose the game now. So because of that, I mean, I feel pretty confident about the position.
I don't like the look of this queen on c4, rook, all of this pressure down at the black king, and now pressure on the clock because black is under a minute and 40 seconds. Okay, with a 2-second increment, the move played, now back up. The queen snaps up his h4 pawn. I didn't even see that was hanging. Wow. dc5, queen takes h4, and now it's +2. So that is what Hikaru does. He finds tactical measures to solve some huge issues in his position, and she did not have enough time. He didn't react properly, and now he just lost a pawn. So queen c4 back, e5 is hanging, but so is f7. That's why the queen went to c4. So do not play bishop e5 because bishop e5, rook e5, rook takes f7. Now black's king is in big trouble, and black is down 1 pawn going on 2. So what else can be played here? Maybe like a rook d7 move because it does open up the threat of this pawn e5. Also, the rook on d7 is on an open file, so can't complain too much about that. So I like the look of rook d7 right now. c5 you can't capture because anytime you do, you walk right into a pin, you lose your queen. So this is a moment here for Shu Yi, but now he's down under a minute on the clock. You cannot afford to be down almost 4 minutes to Hikaru Nakamura. You can't afford it against anyone, really, but Hikaru? No. And he's still thinking. He's got to move. I understand the position is complex, but he plays a5.
Plays a5. Now, that just strikes me as a strange move. Because it doesn't really do anything at all. It really doesn't do anything. I mean, I guess he advances the pawn up 1 square. So now, if I take... I mean, rook f4 looks like... rook f4 looks like a reasonable move. Bishop c3 is also a move. Thing is, how do I play this? Rook f... I think I'm just going to go rook f4. I'm just going to ask him what he's doing here. Because I don't... Okay, now he plays queen e6, but the problem is now I can also trade. Maybe. Do I want to trade? Oh, I don't have rook f7. I trade and play rook a7. Rook e2, rook... I think he made a mistake. Okay, I'm going to take. Rook a7, rook e2, rook f... I think this is good for me. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Let's go here. Because if he plays rook e2, I take, and then I have rook f2. So maybe he played a5 because it doesn't hang the a7 pawn, but I still think this is bad. I mean, I also have rook f7 at some point. Now, again, with perfect play, I do suspect that this is still probably a draw with absolutely perfect play. But again, my opponent is not stockfish, and he only has 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough battle for him going forward. It looks like Hikaru Nakamura correctly assessed this queen trade, and down to 18 seconds. I mean, black is just hurting over the board, now hurting on the clock. So rook f4 simply defends this pawn on c4. This rook can also venture over to g4 to apply pressure on g7. Getting the second attacker going there. Instead, Hikaru goes rook f7 after rook g5. I guess just rook c7.
So rook g5, I have rook c7. Let's take the mouse off the cursor. So I take with check. So I'm up what? I'm up dose pawns. Rook c7, trade rook e2. No, is that actually winning? That's probably that. If I play rook c7, I think I get the Magnus versus Fabiano rook and 2. Whereas rook endgame, that's not really what I want. Rook e7. That's another try. Rook d7 maybe. Or I can just go to f7. But I think I should try to go for checkmate. So I go rook d7. Let's go here. Threatening mate in 1 either way. See what he's gonna do. Okay, now he plays rook c8. Very reasonable move. I think what I do here is I'm just going to play simple chess. Rook d2, king f2, and I mean, with the 2 connected, if this isn't winning, I don't know what is. Yeah, this is just winning. Okay, tries to go rook c2. Actually, now I'm just going to go a4, because now rook c2 I can trade. And now I fix a perma weakness on a5. Okay, rook e5, let's just start rolling. Let's move the king up. Let's go. Let's double stack it again. Yeah, we're gonna get a win here. Again, I want to be precise though. Check is one way to win. I think actually I'm just gonna not start pushing the pawns again. Start pushing. Is there any stalemate? I don't see any stalemate. So let's go here. Yeah, there's no stalemate. Okay. So let's keep escorting the king up the board. Keep it very, very slow. I'm gonna go here. Yeah, now I've mate in 3. I go check. Check and mate.
Nicely done. Hikaru Nakamura. He moves on, and the game got away from Shui when Hikaru found the really, really brilliant e4. Objectively, when you look at the eval, it really hasn't changed. It looks like black can just steal a pawn, and first I didn't even realize he was trying to go bishop h5, but he distracted the bishop from f7, which is a very important pawn. The bishop was covering the square, so now bishop h5 becomes a threat. And with the eval bar on our screens, even if you don't have the move in front of you, you can see black is doing well. How is black doing well? If you move the queen, you lose f7 with check, you lose the exchange. That's no good. But bishop b3, rook takes f5, and not bishop takes e2, which is like the more logical choice since the bishop is here, but that would just drop in exchange, so that's bad. You have to see that rook takes e2 is possible, and after bishop f7, you do not bring your king to the h file where you're about to go and get checkmated, or close to it. There's bishop h7, but this is just bad news. You have to walk into potential discoveries with king to f8. So this is a very difficult sequence. It's not like it was just some obvious missed opportunity for Shuyi. Hikaru's position was worse. I thought it was, but he was able to strike at the right time. He wins the game. He moves on to the semifinals.
There we go. We got the win. We got a big win. Yeah, we do get a win. Good. And nothing crashed. Good. Perfect. All right. So we got the win. And that pushes us into the semifinals, you guys, where I believe I played David Paravian. I think I have the second semifinal.